Good evening,
Hello.
Sharpies.
Hey guys.
Hey,
Wow.
everybody. So you'll notice that like nobody in that intro is actually here
I
tonight.
know. You
Um,
guys need to go ahead and edit it and put my little mug in there because I think I've been faithful for the last 6 shows. So
yes,
it's about time. Let's
it's
see the
about, you're
Sharpies.
absolutely right. Matter of fact, if Tom hadn't gotten sick, we were planning on doing that. He's going to ask you to like look up at the screen, give a smile, and look away, and he's going to like cut you in. But then your boy. So first and foremost, thank you for the people that are showing up. Thank you for moving with us to Thursday night. We wanted to make sure that one, we brought you the coverage we promised you after the debates. Also,
Yes.
oh Lord, so much stuff going on. But also, I want to tell everybody or ask everyone, please continue to pray for our brother Thomas Cunningham. Tom is in the hospital. Now, he's not dying. Say that first and foremost.
Yeah.
But he did contract something, flesh eating something. Hawaii got problems, something else. And it was a close call. Like they basically, from what he told me, if he hadn't gone to the doctor when he did, they're like, if you waited any longer, we looking at like cutting something off, bro. And so,
Really? I
yeah,
didn't know
like
that much.
it was necrotizing something
Is it on his face?
on his foot. So at least he gets to protect, the money up here. But
Yeah.
it was on his foot, and the way I understand it is, it's. I guess it didn't look as bad as it was, but he's still,
Mhm.
because, and this is why I encourage all black people, but especially black men, to go to the damn doctor. He went to the doctor, and they're like, "You get this taken care of." So he's in the
Yeah.
hospital right now. Actually, 7 minutes ago, he went under for a procedure. So y'all pray for your boy, just that he comes through his surgery okay. I'm sure he'll appreciate the good vibes and everything.
Touching
Um,
and agreeing.
mhm.
All
But the
right.
show must go on, and he wanted
Yes.
us to continue on. He said he was going to try and log on from the hospital, but then they moved his surgery time to right at 8:30 Eastern. So he's like, I can't.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to see him in a hospital bed
I'm sure he would have had red gown on or something.
either.
News. So,
Yeah, I don't want to see him in a hospital gown.
but thank you. Hey, Vera.
Hey,
Hey, Anthony.
Vera.
And appreciate all y'all being here.
Hey,
Oh,
Anthony.
look
Guess
at
what?
Gail coming through with
Yes.
the name necrotizing fasciitis. Yes,
Wow. It
that's what it
sounds
is.
very dire. I'm gonna have to like Google images of that, but then it might kind of make brain fart me, so I don't want to see that because
Yeah,
I
you
hate
don't
to
want to
picture
see
him
that.
like
I do
yeah.
know that necrotizing is something dead flesh, like necrotic tissue.
That's
So,
enough right there to send me
okay.
down the joy.
Okay, we'll go. So yes, continue prayers for Tom, claiming full recovery and restoration for Tom.
In the name of Jesus.
Exactly. But we wanted to bring it to you, and thank you all for rocking with us on this new night on Thursday nights. This is going to be our night going forward because y'all outside again, and we can't really count on everybody, including us, to show up on a Friday night. So Thursday
Yes.
nights it is from now on. Hopefully, it cuts down on our competition with the outside and the parties and things. But I tell you one party that I want everybody to come to, and that's the where is it? That is this one.
Hey.
So let me explain. This is actually our first story of the night. Y'all, Trump is in trouble.
Yeah, he is.
He in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Like he in, I don't know how you're gonna get out of this, dog. The Teflon is flaking trouble. He is him and all of his co-conspirators are having to turn themselves in or surrender to Fulton County in Atlanta. So now, if you understand Atlanta, Fulton County is blackety black. Fulton County is like chitlins and collard greens and cornbread black, right? It's I got my heir and my mama name black, you know. It's let me hold
Play
your car
cousin
till
black.
Friday black. Mhm.
My play cousin black.
It's my
Yes.
play cousin black. Exactly. It's let me say my address is yours for certain reasons black. And so there's no friends in there. People ain't trying to come see you. But Rice Street in particular, so I love my city, but Rice Street is the street that Fulton County Criminal Court, and the jailhouse, etc., is on. And Fulton County's criminal system has been investigated multiple times, including that jail, for unsanitary practices, for negligence, for basically
people coming up dead.
Yeah, people coming up dead. We don't know what happened. And so all of that is where all of him and his people got to turn themselves into. Now, most of them will not have to do any spending time there because they posted bail or whatever, and they will get back out. However,
Go ahead and tell it.
I'm gonna show you, like, these are all of the people that have to turn themselves in. I think there's 18 in total, but the big offenders here are left to right: Sidney Powell, Rudy Giuliani, Jenna Ellis, Kathy Latham, David, excuse me, David Schaefer, Kenneth
Chesbrough.
We're gonna talk about him again in a second. Ray Smith, John Eastman, and Scott. And so now these are the ones that made the cut, also known as the Shady Bunch. Right? I also love that somebody turned into Billy. This is my favorite because y'all look at Giuliani in the middle. Tell me he don't look like the Penguin.
Danny DeVito should be shaking in his boots if they ever do a reboot.
I know, right? Because he's got it hands down. I mean, they did a good job with this one. But your boy Chesbrough, here's something else that's happening. So Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis has filed a motion to move the trial date of the 19 defendants named in the election interference probe to October 23rd, 2023. That's 2 months away. She initially planned to try the case in March of next year. According to the motion, the change is related to defendant Kenneth Chesbrough's request for a speedy trial, which he filed on Wednesday. Chesbrough is one of these 18 people. Again, Chesbrough is this dude, middle right. Now, this is what we call fuck around and find out. Because she was going to wait till March, and they already had like a grand scheme of things of how they were going to let all this play out. Not because of these people, but because of Trump and everything that he's up to. And so this guy's like, I want a speedy trial, because a lot of people believe that the prosecution needs time to formulate their case.
Right.
What I
He's trying to play a chess game with them. Yep.
I told y'all before, black women are 85% smoke.
Yeah, baby.
She was
ready to try this case probably way before she brought it a couple of weeks ago.
Exactly.
It took her 2 years. You know what I'm saying? So don't you think she has all of her ducks in a row?
Right.
The underestimating of Black excellence will always permeate this country.
And always to the detriment. You underestimate us to your own peril.
Yeah.
And this is what they've done, because I guarantee you his defense ain't ready.
No, they're not. Not at all.
He thought he might have a chance of getting it thrown out there. Probably encouraged him, like, yeah, ask for a speedy trial. They won't be able to get it together and we can get a mistrial, blah, blah, blah. She's like, oh no, I've been ready since I brought the charges.
Yeah. They have been pretty much just trying their best to just mire her and to lessen her competency and lessen her intellect ever since she's done this. They're saying that she's overreaching, she's too ambitious, she's double charging. Like, why would she charge Trump here when he's already been charged federally? As if she doesn't know the tenements of the law.
Right.
And that was like one of the first talking points when she brought these charges in Georgia, just pretty much trying to undermine her intelligence, undermine her track record. This time it's just not going to work.
No.
Yeah.
No. And wait, where did it go? I just saw a comment pop up. Not the bed bugs.
Yes. Come on now.
Yes.
You guys underfunded. I'm going to ask you because you are a resident of that state and of that Creek County. So are you guys underfunded? Like, why are the jail systems that bad? Is it just to really further penalize the tenants or what? So
there is a long story behind how and why. My camera keeps moving. I thought I stopped it from doing that earlier. But anyway, there's a long story behind how and why the Fulton County jail system is underfunded. And a lot of it has to do with what I said earlier about Fulton County being Black as fuck, right?
Oh, okay.
So if you take into account the way money is transferred around, the way a lot of money gets drawn out of the city of Atlanta because people come in here to work and then they go back home to the other counties to live.
I see.
A lot of schools are underfunded. A lot of public services are underfunded, and the jail system is one of them. Our current mayor has been working to try and combat that. As a matter of fact, they're looking to do a lot of different things, of like putting money into the infrastructure within the city limits, within Fulton County. But the jail ain't had nothing done to it yet, and it's still a mess, and it's going to be a mess because anything that they do takes time. But it initially was underfunded because just like public schools in Fulton County, money was going other places.
Oh, okay.
Because the population here was a population that the broader state didn't really care about.
And it's probably low rung on the list of priority, I'm assuming, since it is a jail. Yeah.
Right. Because, I mean, the assumption is whatever you did, you ended up in here. So we'll fix that.
Yeah. No doubt.
Right. So they're looking at, schools, social workers, after school programs, roads, because the potholes in Atlanta will eat your car. So they're looking at all of that before they look at fixing the jail.
Okay, cool. I get it.
But beyond the underfunding, like Vera said, they're looking at Department of Justice review because of the, like you mentioned, people turning up dead, folks don't know what happened, being lost in the system and stuck in there and stuff. All of that speaks to negligence above and beyond any deterioration of the facilities. That negligence is going to get them messed up. But right now, Trump and all his people are having to turn themselves in, and they're not going to stay there. Well, might be one exception. So this is Harrison Floyd, and this is not your computer or your TV messing up. He is melanated.
Yeah, it's heavy.
And do you want to tell the people about Harrison Floyd?
Well, Harrison's going to actually spend some time at this rat and bedbug infested Vera establishment. I don't know if you guys remember, but earlier this year, he was actually arrested. And he's out on bond for that charge now. Remember this happened in Atlanta? He attacked an FBI agent. Remember that?
Yes.
So he's been out on bond for that. So with this recent charge against him, that violates him. So he's going to actually have to spend some time. I was reading that he actually had the money, but his original bond agreement was pretty much null and void as a result of this particular charge. So he's going to be there for a minute. So, oh my God, Trump's mugshot's just released. If you can get it, I'd love to see it.
I'm going to see if I can find it.
Yeah.
Keep talking.
Guess what he listed his weight as during his booking? Are you ready for this?
What?
215 pounds.
There's no way. Maybe his ego.
He listed his weight as 215 pounds at his booking. I mean, he's just going to lie his way to the grave.
Oh, man. I'm looking for the mugshot, but there's so much nonsense out here on the internet.
Guys, if you haven't, go ahead and send it to us. I'd love to see it. Oh my God, I'm going to see her. Yeah,
everything I'm seeing is like renderings or AI or clearly photoshopped.
Well, they're going to start making money off of it the minute it comes out.
So yeah, I'm going to see if I can find it. We'll look again towards the end of the...
Oh, here it is. I got it. Oh, maybe this is an AI one. No, this is it. Oh my God.
Send it to me in the Facebook chat that we have.
Okay, cool. I will.
Okay.
There's some verbiage on top of it, that leads me to believe that it may not be real, but I feel like this is it.
We're going to use it anyway.
Because it looks just, oh my God, this is a scary picture. I just said it.
Okay. Because, like people say, Trump is talking about, I want my lawyer. Like, yo, I'm not here. I can't do nothing for you, man. I'm busy trying to do for me.
The case itself is just, it's really sad. I mean, we're laughing about it now, but I have to believe that as we speak, or even probably before now, there are some deals being made. There really, really are. I just don't see these low-rung people like that Trevion Cootie lady. Remember, she was a former publicist for R. Kelly and Kanye West.
Oh yeah, her. This for y'all remember this picture? Her.
Yeah.
Trevion Cootie.
Her mugshot, her mugshot hasn't even been released, so at least she hasn't even been booked yet. And it's probably because she's trying to work out the terms of her bond agreement, and that involves lawyers, and that involves what? Money. So I don't know how long her purse might be. I'm not getting into that, but it begs me to wonder if she's having problems coming up with, the adequate amount of money to have a really good defense, so can you at least initially negotiate a bond agreement. So I don't know if she even has that much. And I feel like people like her and all the rest of the ones that we can't really name right now, they're going to be the ones to start to flip in the beginning if they hadn't already.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And yeah, like the lawyers need lawyers.
Yeah.
Right. And nobody wants to be attached. Like Trump fired somebody yesterday or this morning, if I'm not
Oh,
mistaken. He
really?
dropped another lawyer. Uh-huh.
Wow.
And
Is that?
everybody's having trouble because nobody wants to be associated with this. Folks is losing a license. It's one
Yeah.
thing when you think, oh, this can be a career building case for me. I'll take on something amazing and do a good job, and then I'll be famous. It's another to think that you're going to be tainted for the rest of your career and potentially lose your ability to practice law, which is what you just spent several $100,000 getting.
Yeah.
I mean, you just paid off your student loans, right?
Yeah.
And I'm talking
And
somebody that's like 40. You just paid
yeah.
off your student loans.
We're not going to have that conversation. And to your point, even the lawyer that he had for the federal case down in Mar-a-Lago, the one that was representing, what was that guy's name? Is it D'Oliver, Collars D'Oliver? What's that guy's name? The one who worked for Mar-a-Lago? He actually dropped one of Trump's lawyers.
Somebody tell me what his name was. Why does my camera keep doing
Carlos is something Oliver or something like D'Oliver. Anyway, he dropped one of Trump's lawyers, and now he's working with the public defender. And as a result of working with this new public defender, he just switched up his story and said, what? No, I did know about the information about trying to delete the file.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So
and it's in his best interest, because if he can turn, state's evidence, if you will, if he can turn on Trump and the rest of them, his public defender would get him a plea deal. He won't see a day in court.
Exactly.
If he admits that he knew all of that ahead of time. First one to snitch is the one that gets the best deal.
Yeah. So, but that's a separate topic. But what I'm saying is, as to your point, lawyers just don't want to be associated with anymore. First of all, they ain't gonna get paid,
right?
So the prestige of working with Trump, that's long been gone. You forget that.
Right.
They're just trying to possibly get some kind of a paycheck. He's not even doing that.
And so why would I ever? Right.
Yeah.
Here's the mugshot that you sent, and yeah, at the top it does say this is a fake mugshot. I'll take it though. At least they can't accuse us of libel or anything, because we're saying this is a fake mugshot. We're still sharing it though.
Yeah.
It's gonna look a lot like that. What did he say? 220 pounds?
215 pounds was his stated weight at his booking.
Everything about this man is a lie. He ain't seen 215 since
MSNBC.
He ain't seen 215 since the 90s. Come on, son.
Good Lord.
Right. So the lesson remains: the black folk need to believe fat meat is greasy. Yes, they're not gonna help you. They ain't nobody coming to help you, Otis. And we were talking about this before we got on air. Jermaine and I were talking about this too. Like, how many people of color are going to continue to think they're going to be different?
Yeah.
And that the Republican Party, as it stands now, because yes, we know they were the party of Lincoln and blah, blah, blah. But in 2023, the Republican Party don't give a damn about none of y'all.
Yeah. And I'm not even, my thing is, I have some family members that do have conservative values, and they have, voted for Republican candidates on occasion. And I get that. I do. I understand that facet of black people. Mm-hmm. But this modern day Republican thinking, I just don't understand the alignment that we as black folks would have, and we would find in common with someone like a Donald Trump leading the Republican Party. Well, that to me seems like defiance on their part for black people. They're like, I'm going to prove you wrong. They're going to actually love me. And when you have someone like Omarosa, because she was the litmus test for me.
Yeah. Well, it's that rugged individualism. Like, you don't care about what's happening to everybody else because you're good. Yeah. And you think that you're going to be taken care of, etc. And then they drop you like a bad habit. And the way, what is it? Ice Cube lyric that said, you might have a heart attack when you find out the black folks don't want you back.
Well, funny, that's coming from Ice Cube, because look at what he's been doing.
Hey, man, get sometimes where they come from. It is what it is.
So I don't know.
But here's my thing. I'm everybody can't make it on the boat.
No, they can't.
So all of the folks that decide they want to play with fire and keep fucking around, you're going to find out.
That's it. I mean, people are begging Trump to this very day. Even people on the higher tier, that Jenna Ellis lady you just showed a picture of, she was asking him for, lawyer money. Didn't get anything. Mm-mm. So if he's not going to look out for someone like that, what makes you think he's going to look out for,
Right. They thought the first lie he told everybody to believe was, do something wrong and I'll pardon you.
Yeah.
He ain't pardoned nobody. He ain't paid nobody's bail money. He ain't helped nobody out, because he never has. Yeah. Even before he became a political figure, he was a shiesty ass businessman. He never pays people.
Yeah.
Half the reason that he had some money, he was never as rich as he said he was. But
Right.
half the reason, Chan, where'd you send the link to the real one, son? I hope you send it over Facebook, because if you put it anywhere else, we're not gonna find it. You know what? Send it to my personal account. I can pull it from there.
Yeah.
And
Thank you, Chan.
Thank you, Chan. Even though you still won't come on the show, you be tripping. And now my computer is locking up. There we go.
Exactly.
Oh, it's a messenger. Okay, thank you. Okay. But Shay has something to say. Black folks generally have always been conservative. We just not foolish enough usually to tie our horse to racist wagons. Now that is true. There's a lot of beliefs that Black people have that go with a conservative mindset, specifically around financially.
Let me put a button there. Financially conservative, and they're conservative, and they're cherry picking their socially conservative issues. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to civil rights for, the liberty of Black folks, yes. But if you want to target like gay people, they become more conservative and a lot more, restrictive. So they sort of cherry pick. But I believe overall, I would say moderately conservative, but more so socially forward thinking. And that's why, you have more black people voting in the Democratic Party.
Now, I will say, why is this not working? I will say that what saddens me is to have one group of marginalized people express racism, sexism, homophobia, etc., against another group, or express prejudice against another group. So you have, especially like white male members of the queer community that are racist, or body shame, or say like, I've seen some of the Tinder profiles and the things that they say. I'm like, God damn, that's messed up. How can you be so discriminatory against somebody else who has it hard, and then bemoan your station in life? And then to have that same group, part of them being in the conservative party because they want to continue to oppress other people. So that's the reason you get a small percentage of Black people in that current conservative party, because even though it oppresses them, they rock with the way it oppresses other people.
Exactly. But with regards to, the sub-demographics and, different in the white race, even white gay men, their race will trump their gender identity every time, much like white women. Their race trumps their gender, because that's just the way the world is set up. That's the hierarchy of the world. So, they've done a really good job of setting this system in place that we'll never get off from under, at least not in my lifetime.
No, not hardly.
Did their mugshot come over you? I don't know why I'm so eager to see it.
I'm eager to see it too, but wherever Chan sent it, I can't get to it. Chan, we're friends on Facebook, so send it to me directly, please, because I can't get into the and see, one of the things of Tom not being here, I can't get into our Steel Sharp and Steel Facebook page right now, not to respond. So do it again.
That faith leaders in Atlanta are like holding rallies and what have you, just so they can like ask God to protect Fonnie. Is she getting like a lot of threats to where you guys can feel it in the air out there?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. And the atmosphere on a day-to-day basis, you would never notice. But wherever she is, there's increased security.
Really?
And nobody questions it. And everybody, at least everybody in Fulton County, has got her back. And so there is this level of who all out here type of thing,
Has she ever expressed any desires to go higher politically? Because that's been like one of the talking points for the people that's just so against her. Like even some state legislators there in Georgia, I'm understanding, want her office to be under investigation. They submitted paperwork to Brian Kemp asking that, this particular indictment gets investigated because a lot of it is false and she's overreaching in an attempt to like have a higher political profile. Is that true, or is that just something they came up with? Because I've never heard
they came up with. That's their reverse version of Bill Cosby was trying to buy NBC. Like they just making up stuff to make it seem like she is grasping and using this as a stepping stone in her career. But no, she's doing the right thing. And again, they don't want the smoke. She's doing the right thing for the right reasons. And the case is very deep and very sound. This is not like they didn't make any of this up. This dude is on record. We got voice recording of him trying to tamper with evidence here in the state. And the reason, people are like, why is she double charging? That's just extraneous. No, you got to understand, if one of these crazy jackasses that's running for the GOP spot becomes president and they pardon Trump, that's only federal stuff.
That's it.
You can't pardon state. And so she's trying to make sure we get him regardless.
Yeah, Fani is the truth. She first came into my my psyche when the teachers a few years ago, that whole teacher thing where they were pretty much inflating test scores just so they could get kickbacks. Remember that? And all those black teachers were arrested. I was like, who is this woman that's sending all of these black women to jail, these black educators? And then I found out, I thought it was a white woman. Then I found out it was a sister. And I was like, oh my God. And seeing those black educators be handcuffed to this very day in that courtroom still haunts me a little bit, because it was a very sad image for me to watch. But Fani is all about justice and accountability, no matter what your demographic is in life. So if she can send her own, heaven forbid anybody outside of being a black woman. So there's just no difference as to who she's willing to apply the law to and who she's not. She's equal opportunity.
Yeah, she gonna get you no matter what you try to do.
Yeah.
And that's always should be the case.
Right.
You know? Okay, so I got this mugshot. I'm trying to pull it up.
Oh, you got it?
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to get.
Is it legit?
It's legit, and it's actually worse. Let's see if I can do this.
Really? Do you think he's gonna want it on a shirt?
Nah, bro. I don't think he want this one on the shirt, son.
He is kind of vain.
He is vain, but let's hope he's not stupid. Oh, I'm trying to get it to save, but it won't. Oh, here we go. I know what to do. I'm gonna share this other screen. It won't let me copy it, but I can share.
You can't left click and right click it and it'll just save it.
It's a weird file.
Oh, okay.
And this won't recognize it, but that's all right because we got it here. And y'all look at this.
Oh God, why am I? Oh,
it's actually worse than the fake one.
He actually thinks that's going to be a sellable. Yeah, that's like a pose because he looks like that kind of like on an everyday basis, but that's a little bit more drastic and extreme.
I will say this: it looks like it's been touched up. Maybe he did lose a little weight. He might really be pushing 250. I still don't believe
he might be. Stress does make people lose weight, so he might be a little lighter.
He might be a little lighter. Yeah, his face looks a little gone. He looks mad though, but this is honestly he looks better than he has recently. Like he got dolled up for his. He got dolled up for.
What's going on in that head of his? Like, I cannot believe I'm actually having my mugshot taken for the first time in how many years is he? 78 years? Yeah, he's gonna be able to sell it. You're right, Vera.
Mm-hmm. Along with them damn gold coins. Yes.
It's going to be on the flags. It's going to be in people's yards as banners.
He doesn't just look it. He doesn't just look at Anthony.
Yeah. People are going to be praying to that freaking image. It's going to be idolized.
You know, you've heard a lot of people in that are indoctrinated, for lack of a better way to put it. People in the Trump cult, they do pray to him. Please, President Trump, come save us. Please come be our savior. They use that language with him all the time. That's where it's going to, as much as we love Obama, I didn't never think he was my savior.
Yeah.
I never pray to Obama for nothing.
Funny you mentioned that because I said something along that lines last night. I love Obama, still do, but I am not going to risk my liberty for the man. Nah, bro. We just don't do that. So
now I might risk it all for one night, but I'm not going to risk. I'm not going to risk. First off, I don't think I could take Michelle, so I don't want that smoke neither. But yeah, I never saw Obama as a godlike figure or somebody to be worshipped. I just thought he was a decent president. I'm not even. I would have to look at the track record to even say if he was the best or in the top 10. Thought he was decent. He was good. He did as good a job as anybody else has in my lifetime. Right. You know, but all of the people talking about Trump is the best president we've ever had and the best states we've ever had. He is a liar and a criminal, a shyster, a con man, and a crook. And if you look up to that, then
speaking of which, Vivek last night, Ramaswamy, I can't ever pronounce his name.
Vivek Ramaswamy.
He actually said those exact words that Trump was one of the greatest president in I don't know if he said in his lifetime or was the century or something, but he actually said something along those lines. He was so far up Trump's ass last night, it was almost disgusting.
Yeah. It's like he was waving from inside his mouth at one point.
Is he gunning for VP? Do you think that's what he's gunning for?
You know what? That is very possible. If he thinks that Trump is going to skate out of all of this and run, he might run as Trump's VP.
Because Trump was praising him on his True Social thing last night, saying he just really was impressed with him, and he thought out of all the ones out there, he thought he did the best and things like that. But I mean, he just came across as he just came across very shady to me.
Oh, he's super shady.
Yeah.
And he stole Obama's line. I'm glad Chris called him out on that. Matter of fact, let's get into it. Let's talk about Super Smash Brothers GOP edition. These are the 8 people that made the cut, because there were a lot of other people that were still trying to run for that primary, but those are the ones that made the cut. So you got who we have up here. We got Rick Scott, we got DeSatan, we got
Asa
Hutchinson, thank you. Then you got Nikki Haley, you got the Virgin Mike Pence, you got Chris Christie, this guy whose name I don't remember. Burgum, yes.
Although I remember he's just from a small town of 300 people. That's all I can ever think of whenever I see him, because he said that like maybe 80 times last night. You could have played a drinking game on that line alone.
And then you got Ramaswamy. And speaking of drinking games, don't forget the Lincoln Project is always coming through with something fun. And they created a bingo chart for the election last night. Now I tried to keep track of all the things I heard, and I didn't quite get bingo. I got pretty close. Of all the different things that they talked about. All I needed them to say was crime-infested blue cities, and I'd have had it. But I was missing one thing.
I circulated that on my feed as well.
and hey, what's going on? Curtis Calloway, and he says Nimrod wants to be Secretary of State. Yeah.
No, he's gunning for
bombastic side eye everywhere.
Yeah, he's gunning for something, obviously, and that's the part to me that's very, very telling. But I feel like he's dangerous, because what it is, his packaging appeals to the GOP. Just because he is an Indian man, they can claim that they're a lot more diverse now. You know what I'm saying? That makes him look better.
He can be their pseudo colored friend.
Right. Yeah. He flirts with their ideas of supremacy. Remember that whole debacle he got into with Don Lemon, saying that Black people after the Civil War were much more better and equipped for a better life because of the Civil War after the Civil War ended. Remember that? Remember he said that because him and Don Lemon sparred after that. He says because of something that the NRA did, Black people were better footed as citizens in this country after the Civil War.
And it's total bullshit, but
total bullshit. So those ideas that he's able to say, and he has cover as a man of color to get away with, they enjoy that. They do. But the man is very slick on catchphrases.
Absolutely.
He's very smart. I feel like he has one of those brains that retains just about everything, because he has a really quick comeback.
Yeah.
And he says everything, whether it's wrong or right, with conviction and very articulate.
And that's a great skill to have as a salesperson.
Yes.
If you can tell lies with full conviction, you can get people to believe the lie because they think you believe it.
Yeah. But he's very short on the substance of how to execute any of these ideas that he has. Ukraine last night is where he pretty much fell apart. That exchange between him and Nikki Haley on Ukraine.
Yeah, she got him on that.
She got him. And that right there was pretty much the telling that he lacks pretty much anything of substance. He can like deliver it in the one-liners and the zingers, but when you uncover it and dissect these issues, he doesn't know. He wants people to take a freaking civics test at 18. Everyone to take a civics test to justify whether you're able to vote in this country or not. This is coming from a man who only voted 8 years ago. He's 38 years old, first time voting at 30. Been over here ever since he was a child. You're going to tell me to, come on, dude. Seriously, that's hypocrite. That to me just pales right there.
And it reeks of poll tax.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, now you got to take this test to see if you can vote.
Yeah.
Are you out of your mind? Now, if you wanted to just add civics back into the curriculum and make passing your civics class part of passing high school, okay, fine. But not as a decision of whether or not you can vote. I mean, I shouldn't have to prove anything to you if I'm a citizen in good standing in the United States. That's all I need to be able to do. Here's my driver's license. Get the hell up out my way. Let me go make my decision.
He's, you know, those bright and shiny objects that people just flock to. That's what he is right now. It's my suspicion as the race, furthers, he's going to start to unravel a bit. People are going to be able to dig him out and pick him apart and find out that, in the beginning, oh my God, it's beautiful. He's just wonderful. But then when they uncover who he really is, he'll become less attractive. I even heard yesterday, there's a show on Fox called The Bottom Line, and I forget the name of the host, but they were already criticizing him, saying that he's somewhat Beto-like.
That's a great parallel to draw.
Yeah.
Because Beto O'Rourke had all the sound bites, and he was young and feisty, and people wanted to like him, but he couldn't carry it through.
Right. In the beginning, it's very attractive. Anything that you don't know much about, but it looks good, you drawn to.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. But I feel like the base of that GOP, they're not going to buy it. They're not. They're hungry for a dominant white man. That's right, sweetie.
Yeah, the Lincoln Project has a lot to pick from, and you're right. The Lincoln Project has already started spitting out different videos and whatnot. Matter of fact, I tried to snag a couple of them. I don't know what kind of voodoo they have on YouTube, but I tried to download one of their videos and I had to restart my whole computer. So I'm gonna quit trying to steal stuff from, quit trying to reshare stuff from the Lincoln Project, but just go check them out. They've got this video where they've pieced together that interview between Tucker and Trump.
Oh, one last night.
And it just makes them both sound like who they really are. It's a really well done piece.
It's very dark, I'm assuming, huh?
Oh yeah. But what I did manage to get was that clip of Chris Christie with the jab of the night, as far as I'm concerned.
The Chat GPT.
I've had enough already tonight of a guy who sounds like Chat GPT standing up here. And the last person in one of these debates, Brett, who stood in the middle of the stage and said, "What's a skinny guy with an odd last name doing up here?" was Barack Obama, and I'm afraid we're dealing with the same type of amateur standing on stage tonight.
Come over and give me a hug. Give me a hug just like you did to Obama.
The same type of amateur.
And you'll help elect me just like you did to Obama, too. Give me that
the same type of amateur.
Hold on.
Now, you said earlier that he's good with the one-liners and the comebacks. He faltered right there. He had nothing to say.
Hardcore. He didn't expect it. Yeah.
I really want the GOP to start coming up with their own stuff. This is the third set of plagiarism that we've gotten from somebody associated with the Republican Party.
Yeah.
You do your own damn homework.
They're not good with the quips. They're just not. They need canned responses. Speaking of canned responses,
and they love to just take a catchphrase or a buzzword and just run it into the ground.
Does Satan last night? Oh my God. When I tell you he is just not ready for prime time at all.
And let me tell you how not ready he is. You can tell that he practiced and was prepped, and he still could not deliver. He was supposed to be the heir apparent, and he couldn't hold his own with the guy next to him who was clearly plagiarizing half the stuff he said, has no foreign policy, doesn't really understand how to work government in the long run, and it's just up there, like you said, with the one-liners and the clips. He couldn't hold his own with Ramaswamy. He couldn't hold his own with Nikki Haley.
No, he couldn't.
Right. But from a polling standpoint, he's still doing relatively well, but his numbers are steadily dropping. And it's because he's been making faces and doing weird stuff. And you can tell he doesn't know how. He's not an actor.
Yeah.
And what I mean about he's not an actor, actors are able to, you understand this, actors are able to read lines written for them with passion.
Yeah.
Or
he's just a very dark man who's just What is that? What are you laughing at?
Go ahead, say it again.
Me?
Yes.
I said, or he's just a very dark man. I don't understand how the people of Florida, I mean, how did he win in Florida? Do they not require much chutzpah or charisma out of their politicians there? Or are they just not as, politically engaged? Like, how does someone even get to be a governor with such a flat persona? You have to be able to inspire the people. Like, how do you do that?
It's one of the major problems in the United States overall. A lot of Republican, foundational states, foundational counties, whatever, that have been red for the last 2 or 3 generations, they're red just because they're red. People vote Republican because that's the gang they belong to, and they represent their colors, and they don't care who it is. They're going to represent the red. And so he got challenged viciously back in 2018 with Andrew Gillum. And we still wonder about the count on that.
Right.
It is what it is. But then this next round, since Andrew did so well but didn't quite make it, the next challenger was kind of like, eh. Yeah. And so people vote for the incumbent. I mean, I've seen it happen time and again. The incumbent, if your life is going all right at the moment, you think the incumbent's doing a good job, even if that is about to end or just barely begun.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it was it wasn't like very sparks flying debates last night. I felt like Nikki Haley had a strong showing. Yeah. And it really, I hate to say this, but her solution to the abortion argument debate was actually comprehensible, if you ask me.
You know what? I was wondering if we were going to touch on that. Yeah. I have to say, even though I'm 100% pro-choice, her solution was not disgusting. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't. Not. It was something where if you really think it through, okay, we might be able to work with that. You know, it wasn't this all or nothing ultimatum of you gonna have this baby no matter what happens.
Right.
But it did try to curb like abuses, etc. I mean, I get that.
Well, she stated where the majority of the country is. She just did.
And that's the thing. The majority of the country is middle. Yeah. Most of us are middle. I'm super liberal, but I'm not 100% liberal. I still believe in the death penalty. I have 3 guns, right? Yeah. So there's a lot of things. I believe in gun control, but I have guns. Yeah. You know, I believe in, like I said, I'm pro-choice, but I also think that we need more education and more understanding around everything. And you shouldn't just be, you know, like every Saturday morning, go and get a plan B. Live your life better. You know, I believe in equality and equity for everybody, but I also think that a meritocracy could work if we had one. We don't have one. Yeah. You know?
And she took again, back to Vivek, she took him to task on Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate hearing that. She took him to task in Ukraine, and she exposed him for the lack of knowledge that he really has on foreign policy.
That is dangerous because we are no longer living in a country that can't be attacked because we have oceans on both sides.
Exactly.
You know, now 9/11 showed us that in a small scale, but I mean, there's nothing to stop them from launching a nuclear attack against us. Everybody got rockets now, even though they're thinking that they didn't. You know, I want to go back to a comment here that, excuse me, I'm getting over a cold. So Shay said, you know, they think they can do it because Trump did, but they are not Trump. It reminds me of what often happens to singing groups where the lead singer's fame surpasses other members and all understand. Yeah. Anybody coming to see you, Otis?
Yeah,
it's exactly what that is. As people,
we love you, Kelly Rowland. You can bop out a hit every so often, but Beyonce is always going to be the marquee. Mm-hmm. That's just the way it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Name 2 more people in the Gap Band besides Charlie Wilson.
There you
go. So, you know, people thinking that they can, and as a matter of fact, DeSantis is out here trying to be the Hollywood Walk of Fame version of Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Like, bruh, you ain't it. You can't do what he did. None of them can do what Trump did because Trump was an icon before he ran for president.
Yeah.
And so he was given a beneficial position up front. Yeah. All the things he said, it was this person that people already liked from before for whatever reason. And I've talked about this before on the show about it. You know, at one point, Trump was in every rap song, right? Get rich by Donald Trump, something. He was in movies. He was on TV.
It's interesting how he was able to do all of that, even with the racial baggage that he still had. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody cared about his racial baggage. It wasn't up. He was a private citizen. It was up front. I mean, it was. We knew about it, but I mean, it wasn't affecting everyone until he ran for president. Yeah. And then started trying to do stuff. Because like even when he took out that full page ad in the New York newspaper about the Central Park 5, that was still him as private citizen doing something. They tried to bring that up when he ran for president, but by then that ship had sailed and he had way too much popularity. Even now, not being at the debate, he is still the front runner for the GOP.
Yeah. Yeah, and they just needed an inspirational figure, and he just was, I mean, as dark as he was, it still is, he was their inspirational figure. Yeah, he was their answer to Barack Obama. Oh, God, that's sad.
I know that is really sad. But the headlines, as it says, the last thing I did see for the recap after the debate was nothing changed. Trump is still number one.
Yeah.
What you call it? DeSantis and Ramaswamy are pretty much neck and neck. They didn't really gain or lose any ground. Nobody really changed their opinion of anyone. So it's still up for grabs. If Trump really does get out of the race, then it's anybody's grab, because who is going to pick up Trump's, despondent followers? It remains to be seen. They have no loyalty to none of these people.
I feel like what this whole Republican primary is about is positioning and defining who they'll be once Trump is done with in 2028. I feel like that's what they're all doing. They're all trying to state their claim, pretty much define how they'll run the country, how they'll present to the GOP in 2028, because right now 2024 still belongs to Trump. So I feel like that's pretty much what this whole Republican primary is about, because I don't see Trump's grip loosening at all. I really don't. Pence was very defensive last night, and he had every right to be. Yeah. He's pretty much aligned with everything Trump did. You know what I'm saying? Be it good or bad. Only thing that separates him from Trump is when he upheld his duties of the Constitution and certified the election. That's the only thing that, separates him. But up until that, he was in lockstep with him. So he has every right. Yeah.
He's in a unique position because he, more than anybody else on that stage, knows what Trump was really up to those last 4 years. He knows what kind of nonsense and bullshit was being done. He may not cop to all of it, but he saw a good 80-90% of it. And so he knows what kind of devil we've been dealing with. And just like the lawyers that have been jumping ship on Trump's whole shit show train, Pence at that point, he's like, okay, what I'm not going to do is go down as a traitor to the country. I'm going to certify this election because y'all ain't going to get me fucked up. Yeah. And so he's still defensive about that because he has an entire party that's like, why didn't you have our back? He's like, why did y'all have my? Because where was all of this support for the GOP when people were coming in trying to hang Pence? Yeah. That's what they were saying, remember?
If he was actually say that, it might move the needle a little bit. He said, wait, this man had people trying to kill me. If I could just hear him say that, that might just, bid just a little bit more empathy from the GOP, but he won't even say that. So I don't understand him. And I guess it's just his genteel nature. I don't get it, but he needs to be a lot more direct in his passionate defense of defending the Constitution and defending his life, because they were trying to kill the man.
They tried
to kill him. Say those words, dude.
I don't know why he's not doing it. And I also liked Chris Christie's comment where he's like, we've got to not let this type of behavior be normalized.
Yeah.
And, and he made a good, he did save himself a bit. He was like, whether you believe the charges or not, whether you think they're right or wrong or whatever, this behavior is not becoming of a president. And he was absolutely right. And he was the only one to say it. I really was disappointed in how many
people said something like that too. They were very supportive of Pence and what he ultimately did on January the 6th. So.
January 6th, yeah.
Yeah.
But I was really surprised at how many people said, even if Trump is convicted, if Trump is a felon, convicted of multiple crimes, they would still support his candidacy. That's fucking stupid. And the thing is, I expected Ramaswamy to throw his hand up because of course he is. Yeah. I was surprised. But what if you notice, and this is my problem with politicians as a whole, I don't think any of them were going to raise their hand until they heard Ramaswamy get claps and applause. Yeah. His hand shot up like a rocket.
Yeah.
And then you got Nikki next to him. She's like, I guess. And then that whole side. And the other side, now, mind you, this has been seconds. Yeah. Count, if you just count seconds, 1, 2, 3. I got plenty of time to make a decision. My hand is still not up, but I'm getting peer pressure from the other end of the table. So then his other hands go up. And that's when Chris Christie was like, we can't let this behavior be normal. Yeah. And it shouldn't have been. And I want them to understand that it's not about the man. You cannot make exceptions to the rules because you like a person. That is the opposite of a meritocracy, right? Yeah. If Obama had done 1/100th of the bullshit and fuckery that Trump has done, they would have tried to exile him from the country.
Yeah. It just goes to show that the world, even the most, and sometimes with even white people in our own party, they have a hard time seeing powerful white men be held accountable. Yeah. They just do. It's almost Americana that a white man does something and he's able to either get a slap on the wrist or get the very, very, slightest hinge of punishment for it.
Well, that's one of the basic tenets of white supremacy. People think white supremacy is all about the Ku Klux Klan and riding with torches. White supremacy is a fundamental idea that people with white skin are better.
Yeah.
And with that better comes smarter, more capable, less criminal, and more fair and judicial. So we assume, and even people like me and you that have grown up in a white supremacist society, that's the reason that we have this colorism in our society. And that's the reason that we even see in Latino and Asian communities, fairer skin being trumpeted up as something prettier.
Right.
Beauty standards. So, pretty privilege is a thing.
Yeah.
If the beauty standard is blonde and white, that is an additional privilege that white people have, because now we see them as pure, fair and gentle and honest and all these other things, right? True blue. Who got blue eyes, right? So the benefit of the doubt is always given to people with white skin. That's another form of white supremacy. Whereas people with brown skin, because we live in a binary mindset, if you're not white, you're evil. Notice I didn't say black. If you're not white, you're evil.
And that's the water that Vivek carries. He does. The post interview he did with Dana Bash, and she asked him about, pardoning Trump. This is what he literally said, Joy. He said what he did wasn't criminal. It was just more of a very bad decision. I don't know how.
We got something for this.
Yeah. But that speaks to everything you just said. Because of his whiteness, it wasn't criminal. It's just a bad decision.
Right. Meanwhile, they wanted to arrest Obama for a tan suit.
Yeah. So he's very dangerous if he gets anywhere near the White House, which I suspect that he won't. I just don't. I feel like he's just going to be pretty much a flash in the pan that excites them. But once everything dies down, they'll go back to what they're used to.
Right. And I wonder how this is all going to play out, because Nikki Haley made a good point too about Trump. Even though she raised her hand and said she would support him, at the same time she did say he is not liked by the rest of the country. She thinking
said that
strategically, we can't win with him. She said that
out loud. Yes, she did. Yeah.
That's what they need to understand if they really want to have a shot.
Yeah.
I don't want them to.
They're just not ready to move on. They're not. But then, and a little not biased, but the feelings about Nikki Haley and Vivek were seeped into the ether last night too, because Ann Coulter made a very nasty derogatory remark between them two. When they were sparring, she said, "Oh, that's just Hindu business." Yeah. So the fact that, they're on that stage doesn't negate that they're still Indian brown people. You know what I'm saying? That right there lets me know, you guys, you're only arm's length. You just are. We'll welcome your ideas, but only to an extent. We don't want you as our leader. Maybe as a governor, but we can't have you as president.
It's one of the things, I can't remember who told me this or where they got it from, but I remember that there's a saying, your boss will never pay you enough to be your neighbor.
Nope.
They are not going to let you get on their level. I don't care how much you try.
So it's like little things like that sort of seep out that lets me know exactly where they stand. Yeah, you might be in their good graces right now. That's it, Linnell. Always one of other brown people. They always have to.
Meanwhile,
because that's their status, is being excluded. They have to be a part of the exclusion. So they'll other everything else.
This is the most cool thing I've seen all night. People out here wearing N-word for Trump t-shirts.
Oh my God. Well, that's what that brother was over. The one who's sitting in jail, Harrison.
Harrison Floyd. Yeah, he was the blacks for Trump. He was the head of that.
He sure was. Now he's sitting in jail because he can't make bond because he done violated the terms of his bond agreement when he jumped on an FBI agent earlier this year. I just don't.
He going to jail.
He is stuck. He is. I guess he did have his little bond money. He just knew he was going to end up sitting in there anyway. The whole debate was based. Yeah.
Yeah, it did sound like, you're right. It sounded like a WWE match where, I'm coming for you, brother. You better recognize my power. Like there was a whole lot of that feeling. People looking for the one-liner, for the soundbite. I have to say, with good reason. If you know that your party is full of people who don't pay attention to detail and they just want to have something they can repeat, who got the sound bites from that night, they're going to end up being the people that folks remember. Because what can you tell me about Tim Scott last night?
Oh my God, we haven't even mentioned him. He was
Exactly.
raised by a single mom. Raising
no, I mean, like from the debate last night. Do you remember anything that he said?
He was sort of boring.
Tim Scott's gonna drop.
Yeah,
you can't be boring and black.
Yeah, he was number 3 on the stage. It's DeSantis with Rami and Scott. I can't even pronounce the brother's name. Well, the man's name. Mm-hmm. But good Lord, we haven't even mentioned Tim Scott. Bless his heart. He
probably won't. I think his race is done. I don't think he's going to have much more to say it goes. Beer say he ain't got none but gums.
Chris Christie, I mean, I do love where he stands, his defiance and his opposition against Trump, but he said something last night that really pissed me off. What? They brought up the whole gun epidemic, and he laid it at the feet of the urban community in our country.
Now, here's a fun fact. The majority of gun ownership, gun shows, and gun trading, as well as confiscating of guns, happens in rural communities. This idea that there's roving bands of gangs of black folks with Uzis and stuff, like from some drug dealer movie from the 80s, that shit is 40 years old. 40 years old. It hasn't happened since then. Chicago, which people love to throw in your face. What about Chicago? Chicago is not even in the top 10 most violent cities in the United States anymore.
Yeah, that's just media spin right there.
It's media spin. It is a false. Now, thank you, Anthony. It is a false narrative.
Yep.
And so people love to say urban because they know it means black, and people love to protect. Matter of fact, I want to say I posted this on my Instagram the other day. There's a guy I follow, and his motif is everything is racist. And he's his black guy with long dreads, not Son Michelle, but another guy, because I follow Son too. And he's like, hello, everybody. Yeah, this is racist too. And he talks about the Second Amendment and that the Second Amendment really was enacted because of slave uprisings. Mm. And they were worried that slaves would revolt, like Nat Turner and so on and so forth. And there were over 100 slave revolts that were documented. And those are the only ones that made the news. Right. Mm-hmm. And so the idea that slaves, because remember, especially at the right after the Civil War ended, it's more black people in the South than white people. Yeah. The white people was worried that they was about to get done up. And so we want to be able to protect ourselves. So this well-organized militia that this speaks to in the Second Amendment is really about the white people in the state being able to mobilize to put down any black folk uprising. Which is why they like they always like to couch the Second Amendment. They got to protect my family against. They still looking for that roving gang of black people that's going to rise up. But I mean, we whooped their ass with a chair in Alabama a couple weeks ago. No guns anywhere around. And gun ownership amongst black people is starting to rise, but it's with legal gun owners. It's not even the criminal element that you might find. Matter of fact, drugs are on the decline overall in the black community. Because most of the people doing drugs right now are teenagers in the suburbs.
Fentanyl. Mm-hmm. Dropping dead left and right. Mm-hmm. Yep. Bidenomics trended last night, and they have. I guess anything that Biden does, they're going to be opposed to. But I feel like we as a party need to get our messaging out there really, really effectively. They said he did a $25 million ad drop. Was it last night or has it started yet?
It started because I saw one of them first when he talked about taking on Big Pharma and like the cost of insulin only being $35 and all that kind of stuff. And he's got good points. Biden has not sucked. I don't know if I can give him a whole lot more than that, but he has not done a bad job while he's been in office. The thing is, people always, the far-right conservatives and the uber rich that support them, support this another false narrative of we're trying to help the middle class. They're not. They're not trying to help the middle class. Yeah. And the people that are trying to help the middle class also try to help the poor and the upper class and upper middle. They don't like that.
They don't.
They don't want you to help the poor. They want you to help them, even though they got their ends are meeting like a motherfucker, right? But they want to be discriminatory against the lower half of the middle class and the people that are below the poverty line, because there's this idea that they don't deserve. Because again, they think that poor people are black.
They do.
They don't want universal health care because they don't want it for black people. They don't want regulation because they don't want it for black people. They don't even want EPA regulations to protect the environment because they think it affects black people or poor people more.
Yeah. Well, that whole climate change and EPA thing, it's become a woke issue for some reason, which is really weird. And that's the one thing I will give Vivek points for. He was the only one that did address climate change last night.
He said it was a hoax, though.
Did he say it was a hoax?
Yes.
I thought he actually said something positive about it last night.
No, he said, and that's when he started. If he had just said what he wanted to say, people would have remembered. But he started off talking about, I'm the only one on stage that is not bought and paid for. And I'm going to tell you that the climate change agenda is a hoax. But people didn't hear that part because they heard him say everybody else is bought and paid for. And it actually got him a lot of boos, even from the audience. And that's when Chris Christie was like, you chat GPT, like that's when that happened.
Yeah. Well, that right there is not a good bite for any super PAC, because they're like, wait a minute, dude. If you by any chance get any further, you're going to need the, strength and, support of a super PAC. So you need to stop shooting yourself in the foot early on.
Exactly. I got to fix this camera. This is zooming in and out. I'm feeling like Sharon used to back in the day when she used to rock on the screen.
Oh, she used to rock.
But, Vera makes a good point of the retired Ventura, California officer who drove from Ohio back to California to go to a biker bar to shoot his ex-wife. That's white on white crime.
That's what last night, Vera. That's why I was getting ready to bring up after Trump said it was an urban problem. Literally last night, this man is out in the Trabuco Canyon, in the hill country out here in LA. Went up to this biker bar, people enjoying the cover band on the stage. He saw his ex-wife sitting with her best friend at the front, had 2 pistols, not even a rifle, but 2 pistols, and just started shooting. Killed 3 other people. I maybe killed 2 other people, because I think all 4 are dead, including him. But there are a lot of people that were injured. And yeah, this was like literally last night. This is a former cop. So, no.
Which speaks to the mentality of some cops. Some.
God help us.
I mean, there's bad apples everywhere. But if you think about the mass shootings that have been carried out in the United States, there's like one every day for the most part. We don't hear about all of them because when we get to the point where we're like, that mass shooting, no, not that mass shooting, the other mass shooting. Right. In California, no, there were 2 in California. You got to talk about the one in Ohio. Like when we get to the point where we try to figure out which McDonald's it is, because they're the McDonald's of mass shootings at this point. Most of them are carried out by young white men who are upset.
Not since we had that lone sniper in DC. Remember him and his son?
I remember the DC sniper.
Yeah, since we had an issue with something.
Because I remember how everybody was shocked when he was black. Like,
I know. I was living in New York at the time. And I mean, it was literally jaw dropping. I was like, are you serious?
We were like, ooh, I know he ain't black. Ooh, for real?
Oh my God, I remember that.
Shame. But my point about all this is going back to the concept of white supremacy. Every time we hear about some little white boy that has shot up a school, he's troubled.
Yeah.
He's a single person acting alone.
He's a
he had issues, etc. Okay, so why don't we pass a law that says troubled people with issues cannot get guns? Oh, we want to do that. We don't want to. They don't want to hold it for felons either, because we don't want to do that either. The assumption that all felons are black is another reason that felons can't own guns. The reason that felons can't vote is because most felons used to be black. Like all of this, it's always racist. It always goes back to that. And they want us to stop talking about race, but they keep making everything racial, right?
Yeah. No, their messaging has been very effective, but I feel like now with, this very informed, yes, indeed, that was kind of traumatic. I mean, we are as informed as I've seen as us ever in history in all of my years of being on this earth. I love the fact that these young black TikTokers are own it. And when I say own it, I mean research with visuals to the point to where I'm like, good Lord, I didn't know that.
Yes.
And it's all in 30 seconds. You know what I'm saying? So I see why they want to abolish TikTok, because it's just doing too much for the intellectual minds of us.
Mhm.
I have learned so much as a result of these little 30-second little tidbits.
Me too.
Yeah.
And because of the way the algorithms work, when you start liking and reposting those things, you get more and more. My TikTok is full of Black creators with something to say, you know. And if you're not following Lenise, follow her. Son Michelle, follow him. Uncle Dam, follow him, and they will lead you to more progressive, powerfully minded Black people.
Yeah. Even on the local levels too, I'm like, oh my God, this is just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's what they're afraid of. A powerful intellectual Black mind is like something that they have ran from. That's why they want to teach us how to read.
Exactly, which is why they're trying to use like woke and CRT and everything to get you to not learn anything about Black people at all. Because not only does that serve to prop up white supremacy by letting little white kids think that white people did everything, it continues to oppress young Black mindsets into thinking that all we ever were was slaves. And that we've done nothing and we don't know how to do anything.
Yep.
Yeah.
I am godly proud of those teachers in Arkansas that pushed back against that late hour decision that freaking Governor Huckabee made about those AP classes. Oh my God, it was such a freaking punk move to begin with because she did it kind of like late at night on a Friday.
Right, she tried to sneak it in.
Ain't that some bullshit? I was really mad at that. I have a good friend, like I mentioned, your Sarah, Trina Miles, who was like, and she works for the DOE, so she couldn't say a whole lot because, you know, she's in that position.
Yeah.
But she was like, this is some bullshit. She was mad. And the fact that those teachers were not, no, we're not going to stand for this. They pushed back. And to this date, that class is still counting. Now, I don't know what's going to happen going further, you know, because I feel like that's still a part of her campaign promise, Governor Huckabee's. But this first iteration did not work at all. Didn't even want to refund them their money. And that's the part where it just got kind of like, you know, personal. I'm like, wait a minute.
I mean, if you're gonna take my credit, you can't take my money too.
You know what I'm saying? Really, what are you saying right now? So, yeah, she overplayed her hand with that one.
Now, Chan does make a point. A lot of other countries are trying to ban TikTok for the fear of around Chinese data mining. But I mean, they already got all our mining. They already got all our information. There's really nothing left to save. I can tell you right now, Amazon knows everything there is to know about me. I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say
any additional information.
So many platforms out there where they can pick apart the life of Jermaine Taylor. So I'm not.
I was thinking about that earlier when I was looking for all the different mugshots. I typed in something into my search engine that brought up some like super conservative sites. I was like, God damn! Now I'm gonna mess up my algorithm. They're gonna start sending me this Fox News nonsense. Yeah. Now I got to go like clear my search history and everything. I got some friends that will tell you like the stuff that we do to our own citizens is damn near illegal. Like they brush the line all the time. So this idea, but I mean, there's a difference between my own government knowing about me and a foreign government knowing about all of us. So I do get the concern. Yeah. I'm just saying we're more likely to have someone in our government sell that information.
Sure.
Than for them to spend their time gathering off TikTok.
Yeah.
Because we can't be trusted. We never can.
No, I've just pretty much surrendered that my every step, even inside the place that I stay, is pretty much watched.
Yeah. I know they know what I have for dinner.
You know.
Buy me some more food. Yeah. But with that, I think we're going to wrap up the show. We're hit right at an hour. And there is one other thing I want to say. Now, this has nothing to do with nothing. But, you know, I always like to end the show, if I can, with just something funny, something cute. And I thought this was good because this really touched my spirit. So, like, I was trying to, like, get on my diet plan and, like, work out and everything and get my summer body ready. It's August. So, I ain't quite make it. And, you know, people talk about, you know, I'm gonna look real cute with my shapewear on though. Like, you know, I get my little Spanx and get snatched in. For the fall, my fall body is looking like it's on track. So the sweater dresses is gonna be banging. But
the bird season is coming. September, October,
November. Jackets, duster coats. That's gonna be me all fall long. But somebody wanted to put out a song about shapewear, and they did it to the thong song. So check this out.
Now that we're older, can Cisco come back and write a banger about full coverage shapewear?
Oh, my roll so scandalous, and you know my summer dress can't handle it. I spent all year eating all the snacks, now I don't have time to unbig my back. I'm trying to be outside tonight, but all my clothes putting up a fight. Should've drink water instead of Sprite. You know I think I need to put on my full coverage shapewear. Hope that my hips ain't square. Look at my body roll square. I think I did it again. I need full coverage. Shape where. Hope that my hips ain't square. Look at my body. I can't see my road.
It's the excitement toward the end for me, honey.
Right? I mean, she was looking good at the end, though. I ain't mad.
I can see that somebody's going to take her. She's going to be on the national ad. Somebody's going to co-opt her, and she's going to make us some goings, because that was clever.
All you got to wait for what? Suede the Remix God to get a hold of that and turn it into something, put it on iTunes. Because I promise you I will bump that. If they can get the licensing from Cisco, that's a banger right there.
Cisco is probably like, thank you so much. I needed
right, because I needed the money.
Because we ain't heard from brothers since Platinum. Oh boy.
So everybody,
Joy, thanks for letting me hang out with you again.
Of course. And yeah, we're gonna get working on redoing that intro as soon as Tom gets back on his feet. So again, prayers out to Tom Cunningham. We wish you the best. We hope that your surgery went well. He's probably out by now, hopefully. And hopefully we'll see him next week on the show. And we have officially moved to Thursday night. And I'm so proud of all the Sharpies that came and found us out here.
Yay!
On a different night. We see y'all out on YouTube. We see y'all out on Facebook. Thank y'all so much for being with us tonight. So we will catch y'all next time. And as always, I am Joy Stevens.
I am Jermaine Taylor.
And this has been Steel Sharpens Steel.
Bye.
Yeah, you know what time it is.
That's the wrong one. Let me do that again. This has been Steel Sharpens Steel.